Okay, so today we are going to, this first thing we're going to work on is it's going to be a principle drill. I want to see how many different ways you guys can come up with using these three particular points. There are three pressure points, or Kyushojutsu, that everybody should know and to be able to get to in self-defense. Three. I don't care what martial arts you're studying. Ninjutsu, Bujutsu, I don't give a shit. Karate, Judo, Aikido, I don't care, all of them. Krav Maga system of the whole bit. If you're studying self-defense, there are 3 points that you have to know and be able to get to a variety of different ways. You have to have access to these 3 points. And if you can get these 3 points, you will be able to control some of the things that's going on, okay? Now, these are not, regardless of what people say, these 3 points do not end a fight. So let's cut the bullshit. You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, if you just kick them in the groin, that's all you got to do, right? Usually just pissing them off. You've ever really seen 2 people go at it, and let's say you got 2 dudes, it's on the outside of the school, and they're all doing their thing, and then one kicks the other one in the sack. The other one that just got kicked in the junk is pissed. And they have this like rage, they hulk out. You know what I mean? So yes, it does hurt them. Yes, it creates an intense, massive fucking pain. But that, if they hulk out and get fucking pissed at you, they're going to be coming, the next attack they give you is going to be way worse than what they've given you to point. So you've got to be able to capitalize on using proper Kyusho. So Kyushojutsu, right? People say Kyushojutsu means like vital point technique or the art of vital points or critical points or pressure points, right? No matter how you want to shake that stick. But these 3 points is what we're going to work on today. Come here, Mr. Break. The number one that we're going to be doing, oh, no, come up, clinch it. Let's get into the clinch. So the number one that we're going to be doing, if we're in Kumiyuchi in this, we're battling, all right? Number one, you know, I'm going to sound like the fucking Karate Kid here, but if they can't see, they can't fight, right? So number one is just the eyes, and you're just digging it in. Now, of course, yes, take your thumb and you go in right to the eyeball and push, that'll work. But this whole optical, look at the camera there, this whole optical bone around is very sensitive. Like if you push down on that bone or push up like that shit fucking hurts. So if they're grabbing you, right, the rabbit don't attack the lion. So if they've got the balls to grab you, then that means they don't fear you. No one grabs someone that they fear. So if they grab you, they think they're bigger, they're stronger, and they're trying to control you. You don't grab someone if you're not trying to control them. You know what I mean? So if they grab you, you're going to take your shakoken or your toro uch, and you're just going to jam it right in their fucking eyes. That's number one. If you have, if their hands are here or their hands are here, then your hands, bang, right, are going to be there. And you're going to fucking dig the back of their fucking skull. That's what you're going to do. There's one. Okay? Number two, if you can't get to that, or let's say that they're trying to body you up, because a lot of people might be trying to body you up, like they'll move this way, and they're kind of doing, see how this, like this, see how he moved his head? Okay? You're going to go to this collarbone area. You guys all know that. Right inside the collarbone. That shit fucking hurts. You just take your hand, jam it in there like that, and that's what's going to create a huge, intense pain for you to then capitalize and do something else. Again, I want to say, this creates a massive amount of pain, and you have to do something following, or you could end up fucking yourself because they'll end up hulking out and then coming after your ass. So make sure you capitalize on after you do it. So if we're like this, and like if I take my hand, I claw the face, and I jam into the collarbone, I push them down like this, like bam, you know, that would be a way of handling the problem, right? The third one, which now this one, as everyone knows, is the groin. That is one way to create a massive amount of pain. But if you don't capitalize on the strike, they hulk out, they come after your ass, and then you got to deal with the bullshit again. Another thing that I do want to say though is if you did it once and it worked, then do it again. I don't know why so many people don't do the same thing more than once. Like I get it, and like even Miyamoto Musashi says, you could do the same thing twice but never 3 times. Okay, maybe let's go with that. If you want to go by the ancient, scripture, well then at least do it twice. Fuck! You know what I mean? I mean, that's a selling point with firearms, isn't it? Oh, look at this gun. It can hold 10 fucking shots. It's not like it's a one-shot wonder. Well then fucking hit him again. You know what I mean? It's like, that's another thing. It's like, well, how many times you gotta hit a guy? Until they're done. That's how many times you hit them. You keep fucking hitting them until they're done. I never say hit, bang, and then we walk off like that. When does a technique end like that? Everybody, You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? Most techniques are wham, and then you sit back, and then you're back in position, so you can be like, you're ready in case you got to do it again. Now, there's another little, fun thinker. So just keep that in mind. Everyone's like, well, how many times? You just keep doing it until you're done with it. You know what I mean? Don't use excessive force, but be realistic too. If someone attacks you, they're clearly bigger than you. Like I said, the rabbit does not attack the lion. Predators go after prey. If they chose you for a fucking reason. So, if they grab you, number one, eyes. If they can't see, then you have an opportunity to control that. So when you do attack the eyes this way, go after something else, whether it's going to be throat shots, whether it's growing shots, knee shots, rib shots, coming back up here, up through here, whatever you're doing, you're going to make sure that you're following that up, but you go to the eyes. If they're grabbing and they're pulling you around, and the eye shot's great if they're grabbing you and you're not grabbing them, or you got one hand to grab, right? But if they're grabbing on and you're grabbing back, that pressure point, that collarbone, that is what's really going to hurt. And then you got this, and that'll give you an opportunity to throw that elbow shot back up here. This, and then kick him in the groin here, or this, and then come into oso tokurai here, or whatever you're doing. But it gives you that initial pain to open him up to do something else, right? Going back to that growing. Now we got number 3, growing. You kick him in the groin, boom. You got to do something else, whether it's going to be a throw, or you kick him in the groin here, and then an elbow shot here. You kick him in the groin, you come in this way here, or wrap him up, or whatever you're doing. But you've got to be able to understand how it works, when it works, why it works. Now you look at those 3, and the reason, not only do I think those are the 3 best positions or Kyusho in a real fight, because they offer you something different. If I attack his eyes, what direction does he go? Backwards. If I need to create space, if I need to get to my sidearm, my knife, bang, pop, I push it this way, and now I can come out. If I need him to go down, that's where that collarbone happens. Because you just jam it in there and you can get force going down. If I need him to bend over, if I want his head coming down, pop, that's what's going to bend him over. Bang, then I got a knee into the head this way. Do you catch what I mean? So it depends on the situation, your environment, what's going on, how you need to react in the situation, how you need them to move, how you want to manipulate them, depending on what's going on, what you have, why you have it, what you're wearing. Even terrain matters. If you're on wet grass and things like that, that's going to be different than wearing nice rubber-soled shoes on a goddamn concrete. Everything comes into play. So if you guys are studying reality-based self-defense, anything, and you're a martial artist, the 3 things that you should be able to get to, no matter what their positions are the eyes, the collarbone area coming down, and the groin. Now, fighting stance. If he comes in here, let's say he throws the jab, there's the eye strike. You see what I mean? Let's say he throws the jab, bang, there's the groin. No matter what we do, I'm going to be able to get into those positions every fucking time. You have to be able to know how to get to those 3, no matter where they're at. The grabbing collarbone. Do you catch what I'm saying? That goes right into the clinch. That's why you're trying to work that. You're working the throat, all the small tissue, soft tissue in the throat, collarbone area. You're just jamming in there, working it over to create pain so you can get into a throw or whatever you're doing, right? Take them down. If you put them on their ass, they can't hurt you. If you're standing and they're not, that's generally a good idea. So that's why that's good. If they're not, eyes, growing. But don't think that's how you end it. Because hitting someone in the eyes is fucking hard. I want to make sure we're good with that. Don't ever think, oh, you see these people all the time, oh, just do this. Eye strike. You know how fucking hard that is? Like if you guys really think you're that good at targeting, tell you what we'll do. I'm going to take a little fucking tennis ball, we'll tie a little rope on it, hang it here, and I'm just going to hit it. And you guys are going to move around and try to finger jab the fucking tennis ball hanging on a rope. I know you're laughing your ass off and you're like, yeah, it should be fucking hard. That's what's happening. Do you think anybody that's going to attack you is going to be dumb enough to do this? Fuck! No, but you got these dumbasses. Oh, reality-based self-defense. Fucking stab them in the eye. A fucking dumbass. Don't buy the bullshit on that one. Don't drink that Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? If you can attack the eye, attack the eye. Try to attack the eye. There's a huge advantage to digging your fingers in their eyes, but it is not easy. Same thing with the groin. Kick them in the groin. There's a huge advantage to kicking their nuts in their throat, But it's not the easiest thing to get to either, because whoever the person is that's coming after you, assuming they have testicles, they've probably been kicked there before, and they're not going to want you to kick them there again. Why are you laughing? Oh, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're not going to, and don't get me wrong, they're not necessarily going to fight you like this, but they're not, they know what they're doing. So it's not the easiest thing. So you do have to understand, that's what I'm talking, earlier we talked about, you can't just go to a shooting range and do this for self-defense. You can't just practice pulling out your knife and stab it into a fucking ample for self-defense. You can't just stand there and punch a bag and think that's self-defense. Because there's too much, it's so much more to it than just like ridiculous, stupid shit that's perpetuated in the martial arts and everyone says that's what you should be doing. Those things are fine, but it has to grow. And I've always talked about that, you've got to grow. Kata is good, but you have to make waza, modern variations of that. Right? These are the 3 points. Make sure you know them.